Hey guys, what is up? It's Kaeyoh from Tempo Storm, and today I wanted to talk about Sylvanas Windrunner and talk about a build that I've been using that I feel like is very strong for pushing potential and overall just having a lot of damage, a lot of teamfight presence, and mobility. So we'll get to the build in a second, but right now I feel like with the current hero pool, with the changes that have come to all these different assassins, Sylvanas is really actually a prime pick right now in competitive play. And she, of course, retains all of her insane amount of accessory pushing power that she had before, but now her kit offers her a little bit more synergy between talents, and I feel like that helps her out quite a bit overall. So this particular build, by level 4, you have an insane amount of push, and you can see the build right there. That's the build I'm going to be talking about. We can just go over the talent choices real quick. At level 1, it's going to be Paralysis, which increases the duration of Black Arrow by 75%. And at level 4, you're going to be getting Lost Soul, which is the one that reduces Shadow Dagger's cooldown by 1.25 seconds each time it spreads to a hero. So let me already just talk about this level 1 and level 4 talent synergy. So on Battlefield of Eternity, for example, you can think about this map. What ends up happening is if you get the Immortal, you're going to be in a really prime position to push. And whenever you're pushing with this particular build, what ends up happening, because you have the increased duration on Black Arrow and the reduced cooldown on Shadow Dagger, is it results in having a huge amount of uptime on your disable on structures. So you're going to see an example of this in the game in a second here. And basically, what you can expect is to be able to have a team that's sitting behind or right around their gates, right? Because they're going to be defending the Immortal, they're going to be poking at it. And what this allows you to do with this build is, as you can see, because everybody's grouped right around the structures here, every time you throw one of these daggers, it's going to spread to all the buildings, which is going to disable them. And you're going to be getting a lot of cooldown reduction because a team is almost always going to be clumping around their gates and their structures that they want to defend. So like I was saying before, you get a huge amount of uptime on your disables. You get a lot of damage that's constantly coming out from these W spreading. And overall, I just think this is a really powerful combo. So with that being said, let's go on to the 7 talent. So at tier 7, you have Barb Shot, which is the 200% damage to minions, mercenaries, and monsters as well. So what does that mean? Well, I guess it's a bit of a hard choice, for some people to pick between Unstable Poison and Barb Shot here. But really the reason I feel like Barb Shot is better is because, one, this build actually does take the 13 Haunting Wave talent that increases the amount of Withering Fire charges you're going to be shooting out, so you get more bonus from that. But as well, the Unstable Poison only works on minions, so you're not getting that added boss DPS or immortal DPS or any of that, which you do get with Barb Shot, and it is an insane amount of extra damage. So I certainly do think that is the right option. Remember, every time you kill a minion with not with Barb Shot, but you kill an enemy minion, you get a charge of that as well. So you're constantly getting those charges filled back up while you're clearing a wave. So you do get a little bit of wave clear synergy as well. Now, level 10, Sylvanas being just changed to have Mind Control. This is actually an extremely good option as well. Now, I've highlighted Silence for this particular build, but I would say that either alt is exchangeable here depending on the situation. It's always going to be a safe bet to take Silence. Silence is a great ultimate. But if you're against a comp where the healer doesn't have cleanse, or you can reliably catch people, there's a couple situations where this is really good. Now, if you have a lot of globals, Mind Control is going to be very powerful, because anytime that somebody is kind of pushing a lane by themselves, let's say Cursed Hollow or something, you walk up, you Mind Control, Brightwing teleports on you, or a Dahaka tunnels, right by the person you're mind controlling, and you're almost guaranteed going to constantly kill people. It's also really good in situations where the enemy team does not have a cleanse, because that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Mind Control, is that it's vulnerable to a cleanse. So make sure you're playing around that. A lot of the times, if the enemy healer does have cleanse, I still really, really like Silence. Okay, enough about the alts. At level 13, you got Windrunner, which is actually an insane talent. Alright, so let's just say one thing. Sylvanas probably has the best 13 tier talents out of any character in the game. Okay, Will of the Forsaken is a really incredible self cleanse that you can use that has a sprint built into it. Or you can go this Windrunner talent, which just adds a ton of chase, a ton of extra damage, more mobility. Um, I think if in the certain situation where you need Will of the Forsaken, maybe you're running against a Octograb or a Judgment Material, or where just an enemy comp is really just trying to kill you. Will of the Forsaken is a great choice. Go for that. But overall, most of the time I'm picking Windrunner here. It has synergy with Barb Shot when you're trying to DPS down Immortals or objectives or bosses. But it also really helps you in team fights because not only do you get the recharge Withering Fire when you E, but that second free E that it gives you, refills your charges again. So you just have an insane amount of damage power spike once you hit 13. At level 16, this is also an interesting tier because you have a couple good options. But for the most part, I'm usually choosing between Cold Embrace or Overwhelming Affliction. Overwhelming Affliction is the one that's going to be slowing enemies every time you get a stack of the Black Arrow on them. And this is extremely good in team fights when you're constantly throwing out W's. Again, go back to this level 4 talent where you're going to be getting cooldown reduction, so that's more uptime on Black Arrow. And then also you have more Withering Fire that you're going to be shooting out constantly. So you're really going to get this slow stacked up quickly against people. And it's very, very, very strong. But if you need to kill a single target, you need to just make sure that target dies. Cold Embrace, the vulnerable, being able to mark a target, extremely good. Best situation for this are usually when you're against like a single bruiser that a comp is built around. So for example, like an Illidan comp where they have a Tassadar, an Abathur, all these things where they're like, alright, put our eggs into Illidan. Illidan's got to make this game happen for us. Just let the Illidan god carry us. So if they're running a comp like that, Cold Embrace, you're able to mark a target. Now obviously that's a severe nerf that it only vulnerables the first person that it hits, but I think it was a good change because that talent was the only option anybody would ever go at 16. Level 20, you've got Bolt. Another nice thing, if you take Silence, you can just take Bolt very comfortably. If you take Mind Control, this is an extremely powerful level 20. The Mind Control upgrade, a little bit more risky, I would say, but overall, it's just insane how fast you can pull somebody away from their team and into your team, especially if the enemy team's not expecting it, which a lot of times they aren't in Hero League. So, but for the sake of this particular build, we'll say Bolt. So, have fun pushing down forts and structures all day. I think that build is extremely strong. It's a lot of fun to play too because you're just constantly throwing out those W's. With a lot of uptime on Black Arrows, getting a lot of value out of that passive. And I just love how much synergy there actually is with this build. There are a couple other good builds with Sylvanas that I've been using, but overall so far this has been my absolute favorite. Alright guys, hope you have fun out there in the Nexus. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Peace.
Say that Cloud9, Team Naventic, and Cognitive Gaming probably have a 100% chance of qualifying for DreamHack Austin. All three teams are fantastic, and none of them have gone through roster changes.